to the greenhouse. So today's video is going to deal with cloning plants with my cloning stations. So these are the results you can get. I've got flowers on the tomato plants. I have other tomato plants I'll show you in a minute that I've cloned that actually went to fruit, and now I've transplanted them into soil. So the first thing we're going to do in transplanting, and then the video will get into the actual cloning stations. I'm just going to cut this back, and I'm going to bury this stem into the soil a little bit, and it'll grow even more roots like we have here. I don't even think that's 2 weeks in the cloning station. So I have some compost here. Let me bring it a little closer. Sorry, I'm dealing with an overgrown tomato plant here coming out of my tower garden. So again, here's my clone plant. The advantage is we're going to go right to tomato production a lot quicker. And the goal is I want to bury it about up to there. So I have an organic compost, and I'm going to add in some biochar, Game Changer biochar. You don't have to add in that much. These plants are for me, so I'm kicking it up a notch. And I have some organic fertilizer. Sprinkle a little bit of that around. Easy, primo. And from there, I'm going to cover it up with just a little more compost and some mulch to keep the soil moist. So today's video, as I say, is going to talk about the cloning stations. I'm also in the middle of shooting a video on cloning rosemary, just in a cup. Excuse me, I'm having a hard time getting this out. I probably overcrowded this, but you can see right there, we're starting to get roots right there. And this has only been about 3 days. Now, full disclosure, I'm actually using some of the Tower Garden Grow Solution, and it's a batch that I've mixed up myself using ingredients that I've purchased. So I'm not going with the pre-mixed solution. It's basically a water-soluble fertilizer. It's Epsom salt and calcium nitrate, I believe. So per 5 gallons, you do 12 grams of fertilizer. You mix that in first. It's important on how you dissolve these ingredients in the water. Then you're going to add 6 grams of the Epsom salt. Again, mix up your 5 gallons of solution, and then you'll go with another 12 grams of the calcium nitrate. And that'll make a complete growing solution. Sorry, if I don't pick him up, he's going to bark. He's got his ball hidden behind the towers here. So anyway, I hope you enjoy watching today's video. I hope you'll watch it to the end. I did want to show you the results you get. Actually, I will show you another plant real quick before we move on one that came out of the cloning station. So hold tight 1 second. Let me just grab that plant. It's just a arm's reach away. A little bit of bamboo there to help support the plant. This plant has been in the soil for about 1 week. You can see we already have roots, and I apologize for the lighting, but you can see the white roots there coming out of the bottom, so this is almost ready. You can see the little cherry tomato right there, and we do have new flowering starting right there. Might be hard to see. We have some right here. So those are the results. I mean, we're talking not even a 12-inch plant. I already have a new sucker coming up the top here, and we're producing tomatoes already. That's within 3 weeks. So again, I hope you'll find this video helpful. I'm going to show you my cloning stations. And again, I did mix in the grow solution, so that's helping me get these results. I'll do a separate video on how to mix up the growing solution, just in case you have any interest for it. So again, enjoy the video, and if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. And again, we're really trying to build up our subscriber base, so if you could please like this if you find it helpful, and share it with your friends, and we'd ask that you ask them to subscribe. So again, enjoy the video. I'll see you at the end. Today is December 27th, 2019, and I wanted to show you all the cloning station that I built a little over 5 years ago. Before I do that though, I have to take care of my reservoirs for my tower garden, and while I'm adding the grow solution, I'm going to mix up an extra batch to put into the cloning station. So stay tuned, I'll be right back. So the first system I set up for cloning is it operates off a pump, and in that you screw in your PVC. So you have fittings that are threaded. This gets connected here, and then another male fitting to go into this manifold, which just screws on and off. So basically my upgrade was I purchased this manifold like that online. I had to buy an adapter to fit the 1/2-inch thread to 3/4, and then I got some maxi jets here. These are 360 degree. So this is what basically waters and aerates the plants that you're going to clone. So that's what drives the system. And let me show you the bucket now that I set up. So the top of the bucket, in this particular one, I did 7 openings, and each one of them has a net pot. These are, I believe, 2-inch. I cut the bottoms out. This way, when I take these out of the cloning station, I'm not going to mess with any of the roots. And on the top, I picked up these neoprene round covers. They're slotted. I'll pull one out and show you. They're slotted like that, and you stick your cutting in, and then from there you go right into the net pot. And what this does is, once you set that in the lid of the bucket, it gives you a nice watertight seal. Let's take a look at the bucket now. Basically a 5-gallon bucket. Now, I didn't use this particular bucket. I bought one that's food grade. I got it online. I forget the company, but I got a food grade bucket. So again, maybe a little overkill. So basically you drill your holes in the lid, you cut the bottoms out of your net pot, and then you make a cutting of the plant you want to clone, and then you set your station up with, you could do just water initially. I did that. You see we have pretty good success here. The basil's rooted, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 tomato plants are already starting to root, and one of the rosemary, the second one, has not started yet. So pretty good success just with water. I'm going to kick it up a notch now. I had to mix up 40 gallons of my grow solution for my tower gardens, and I thought I'd mix up an extra 5 gallons that I'd split between my 2 different cloning stations. So let me spend a minute and show you the other system I have set up. It's with a bubbler, and basically as the bubbles rise up, they pop at the top of the water, and that popping waters the plant that you're trying to clone. So let me show you that. I'll be right back. So the second cloning station, same concept, 5-gallon bucket, food grade, lid, holes drilled, 2-inch net pots, same setup. The only difference is how we're going to do the cloning process. This is an air pump online, about 30 bucks. You can get them cheaper. This is probably overkill. You can see it has a manifold. I can drive a whole lot more of this if I'd like to. Whoops. Now, the bubbler that's going to aerate. Again, another online purchase. What I like about this one is the hose feeds straight up versus coming out the side here. Then you have to make a 90-degree turn coming up. So maybe 14 bucks online. A little bit of 1/4-inch tubing. And again, this bubbler, a lot of air comes out, and when it reaches the top, they burst, and that acts as the spray to feed the plants you're trying to clone. So I'm going to go ahead, fill up both my buckets, and we'll come back, take a look at the plants. I'll show you one example of how to clone a plant. I'll probably do another basil plant because I'm having a lot of luck with that. And as you all know, with all the cooking I do, I go through a lot of basil. So I'm going to do another basil plant. I have a lot of tomato plants, a lot of suckers that are growing. I'll probably clone those as we get into January, February. This way we'll have an early start on our tomato growing season. I'll be right back. Okay, so this cloning station here has that bubbler in the bottom, and basically with your hand down here you can feel the moisture as the bubbles burst. So basically that's how this station operates. We have the other one hooked back up again, and this one's very aggressive, you see that. So you have to make sure you have a really good seal for this one, but I seem to be getting better results. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and swap out that basil plant. So let me show you basically what we do. Here's a cutting. Oh yeah, it smells great. So again, I'm looking to get a couple of nodes. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right about here, and you ideally want to cut it on a 45. So from there, I've got a rooting gel. We're going to dip this in. I'm going to switch these plants here. As I said, I want to get this basil plant. I've got a lot of nice roots growing there, so we'll swap this out and we'll get it in the dirt and soil in just a minute. So again, open it up. I'm going to stick my new plant that I want to clone right in there. And I'm going down so I have some nodes. That should do well. This one looks like it had at least two. You have one right there and another one right up here. So that seemed to have done pretty good. And again, we're going to stick that right into the net pot. Give it a good seal. I'll probably need to trim back some of these basil leaves, but they're really nice. I'm going to go ahead and harvest those for in the kitchen. And from there, we're all set to clone another plant. This is a longevity spinach. Again, I just had it in water. It's not doing great, but we've got some good roots. So now that I've upgraded to a growing solution, hopefully we'll have a little bit better success. So that's the setup. All right, that's going to wrap up this video for today. Cloning plants. About 2 weeks. So I put this in a nice organic soil. I added some biochar. Big fan of biochar now. And a thin layer of tree mulch and a little bit of organic fertilizer. So this will be the second successfully cloned. This one was done in the tower garden. It's the same concept, aeroponics if you will. So it's that easy to have an endless supply of basil, rosemary, tomato plants, you name it. So leave me alone. I'm busy farming. Okay, I guess I better go. I'm being summoned again. I hope you enjoyed this, find it helpful. I hope I encourage you all to start growing, even if it's just a simple herb garden. You don't need to be cloning plants. You can go buy an organic basil plant, rosemary plant, transplant it into a bigger pot. Be very mindful of how you're harvesting it. Again, you typically always want to harvest right above where you have a node and a split of 2 leaves. From there it'll branch out and you'll have an endless supply. And you might just want to have several plants if you use a lot of basil as we do here. Gotta love that Neapolitan margarita pizza, baby. All right, please subscribe, like, and please share. And thank you for watching. All right, Primo had to say hello. He felt left out. I've been throwing the ball to him the whole time trying to shoot this video. So there he is, my sidekick, trying to give me a lickathon. All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.